Praise Allah and roll out the red carpet, because today we're talking about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He's running for president against Joe Biden, who has poop in his brain and also diapers. RFK recently appeared in the popular Joe Rogan show on the Spotify FM network, but why is woke big tech trying to censor what might be truth? Question mark? Just asking questions, secular humanist YouTube lawyers. Plus, we check in on Donald Trump. He was recently indicted, but everything's fine, and he's winning, which means you're winning. You're always winning. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. All that and more, like maybe I just play the finale of MASH because I run out of content when the show starts right
Post haste.
Hello and welcome to the Von Jono Predicament. My name is Steve Von Jono and I'm a moderate centrist, bit of a milquetoast fence sitter. I am a former lefty who's here to tell you the truth about how things really are. I deliver you the red pill, which comes from a movie directed by two people who would agree with everything I have to say. Let me take a second up top and address the recent mass shooting. Now, I do not know which mass shooting this is. I am recording this beforehand, but we can all feel it, right? We're due. I'm guessing Omaha, Nebraska, Save-A-Lot, 16 dead. You place your bets. Now, to this mass shooter who has allegedly watched some of my videos and maybe shared them on his Russian social media website.
It's just the Friendster base code, but everything is in Cyrillic.
First off, you don't actually exist. You think you're a real person, but you're really a psyop. And by psyop, I mean a series of 9-year-old Bangladeshi children with a bunch of smartphones constantly posting about how trans people exist. But also, just FYI, you don't go to Valhalla for mass shootings anymore. They changed that in the last update. Now they just throw you in an unmarked grave and everyone you ever dated talks about how weird your dick was. Okay, we got that out of the way. Also, side note, don't touch our guns, woke communists. They're literally the only thing stopping the CEO of Target from breaking into my house, looking at my son's butthole and going, very nice.
I do not have a son and I barely have a home.
Okay, second item of business. I would also like to take this opportunity to address recent accusations that I am in fact not an alpha male badass. There are people online, again, I'm presuming Bangladeshi children working on behalf of the woke world order, I didn't say Jews, you did, who are claiming that I don't radiate a kind of wicked fresh Shaolin warrior monk energy. These, quite frankly, loser dorks are claiming that I don't know how to skateboard. They're claiming that last weekend at the skate park, I tried to do a kick flip ollie and just managed to drive the skateboard into my own balls and then just curled up in a fetal position and started crying and asking for my mommy. And then they're claiming they have video footage shot by my mom of her just standing there going, stop crying. It's not like you even had balls to begin with, you dumb bitch. Lies, lies, AI-generated deepfakes say lies a third time. But why must they lie? Why must they claim that someone like myself, who is in fact challenging the world order, going against the machine, even raging against it, one might say, but why would they claim that I am in fact not a badass? I don't have a cool factor, and that I'm still icing my ball sack due to swelling.
Ball swollen, penis shrunken. You don't know my life.
I live in a house with a full recording studio. I'm, of course, referring to my iPhone, which I have almost paid off. It can record anything. Also, you know who else lives here? That's right, rock stars. We have the former drummer of Buck Cherry crashing here sometimes. He was kicked out of the band for being too sober. That should be cool, living in an actual house and every now and then having a rock star ask if he can bum a cigarette and then you tell him you don't smoke and he calls you gay and then retells the story about getting his dick sucked by Sharon Sossaman behind the scenes of Carson Daly Live in like 2009. That's a cool story. I hang out with cool people. I'm cool. And they, again, being the woke establishment machine, also all scientists, everyone. Even if you've just put on a white lab coat as a joke, you're dumb and I hate you. They don't want you to know that it's possible to challenge the system like I do and still live like a king. By the way, producer Nancy Mom, I'm going to need to borrow your car. And also $20. I got to buy a pack of cigarettes or else Xavier won't tell that story again. Also, the bass player from Static X lives here. Well, in the backyard. He brought his own tent. Also, he wasn't the regular bass player. He just went on one tour with them, and he was actually the bass tech. But I still think it counts. I'm very cool. They don't want my audience of extremely masculine and sometimes morbidly obese young men to know I can skateboard. Okay, now that we've settled that, the conclusion being obviously that I am rad as hell, let's check in with former President Donald J. Trump. Damn, he's still in trouble? Usually it just lasts a couple days and then he calls Nancy Pelosi a dumb bitch and everyone's like, we can't stay mad at you. And then he gets reelected like senator or whatever it is. What's he even in trouble for anyway? Is it still being so good at sex he has to pay porn stars to not tell everyone? What is it? Oh, really? Nuclear secrets? To Kid Rock? The Barack Obama killed a kid, and not just in like a drone strike. No, he was in the car with Matthew Broderick in Ireland in the 80s. I don't care. It is quite frankly a big load, and get the kids out of the room for this one. It is a big load of crap. Yeah. Sure, you might say, oh, did Donald Trump break the law? But what even is a law? And listen, maybe you could open up a dictionary and get a definition, but what is a definition? What even is a word? What are letters? We just made them up. What is the universe? What if we're all just like in a germ, like under a giant's fingernail somewhere, and did that giant also steal confidential documents and give them to Hunter Biden to smoke crack with? I rest my case. Point is Hunter Biden. We should talk about that. And I refuse to take the sham circus of an indictment seriously until he is also charged. The DA, which stands for damn ass, refuses to press charges against Hunter Biden just because he's, wait, what? Oh, they did? What was it for? Did he also have sex with Stormy Daniels? It was for a gun charge? Damn, that's cool as hell. I don't know how to feel about this. Pivot, we gotta pivot. Okay, I've decided how to best cover this Hunter Biden story, and it is, of course, to talk about COVID-19. Robert F. Kennedy, pictured here, and also don't listen to his voice, is running for president against Joe Biden, who's mostly known for sniffing children and then forgetting which room he just sniffed a child in. RFK Jr., as he's called by his friends, who I hope to someday be, has recently appeared on a number of podcasts and YouTube programs hosted by some of our leading philosophical and scientific logical minds, such as Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson and, I don't know, Barstool Sports. I haven't checked that, but it sounds right. You know what I'm saying? Seems like that's the kind of thing he'd do. But some of his appearances have been brutally censored, which is easily the worst thing to ever happen to a Kennedy. YouTube blocked his interview with Dr. Reverend Peterson, and Spotify is receiving harsh criticisms for hosting him on the Joe Rogan Drive Time Fun Hour. All because he dared to challenge the heterodoxy of the coronavirus and its various vaccines.
Heterodoxy means cool in this case, not like they're gay.
No, I have to be extremely careful with the words I use here, because I myself have received a YouTube suspension before. That's right, I was not allowed to post for 2 weeks, which is more or less the equivalent of getting raped in the Holocaust, just for what they called medical misinformation. And it wasn't even about vaccines. All I said was that baby aspirin shrinks your penis. Why else do they call it baby aspirin? Checkmate, libtards. Point is, YouTube is not playing around, so I shall choose my words very carefully. Ahem. RFK Jr., who again had his entire family murdered in front of him, either by bullets, CIA, or cirrhosis, so maybe offer him a little sympathy here, has claimed that it is possible, yet unconfirmed, that after consulting your doctor to try and get the best course of medicine, well, you need to take giant handfuls of just herbal farm supplements, or else you're going to poop blood, and also all pills everywhere will turn your kids gay and trans in that order. This isn't controversial stuff. It is well known to everyone, and radical communist leftists, many of whom have offensively colored hair, will try to make you look wrong by a series of, data points and charts, both pie and otherwise. But don't forget, they look dumb. But you're not wrong. You're right. You were right about everything. You're right about Jussie Smollett. Okay, he faked that attack and also went way too broad in the last season of Empire. You were right about January 6th. Turns out it is cool to poop on Nancy Pelosi's desk. And you're absolutely right about COVID vaccines. Unless you're wrong. Again, please consult your doctor and do literally anything they say. Doesn't matter. Even if they're that one OBGYN doctor who was just impregnating everybody with his own sperm. Do you remember that guy? Even if it's him, do whatever he says. Who cares? Thorazine rules. YOLO. Please don't suspend me, secular humanist YouTube lawyers. This is all I have. One thing we can all agree on, though, is that debating rules when it's done on YouTube. When it's done in like a high school gymnasium, then it's just a collection of very pasty 15-year-old boys who bring a briefcase to school for some reason and at one point accidentally called their teacher mommy, which is kind of a supervillain origin story now. Anyway, some nerd named Dr. Peter Hotep, I think it is, and also presumably he's the same scientist who created the evil white race. I think his name was Jacob at the time. He got on Twitter to step up to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. just because RFK was willing to challenge the anarchically tyrannical mainstream opinion on COVID-19. And also, presumably, RFK had sex with his Aunt Jackie O when he was like 9 years old. It only makes sense. Joe Rogan has offered Dr. Peter Hotep $100,000 to debate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Elon Musk has doubled it. Jeff Bezos has probably tripled it by now. And of course, Jordan Peterson has been getting real horny on Maine about it.
Debate him, you coward, and also just screaming for 90 minutes counts as a debate.
Peter Hotep dares to question Joe Rogan on medical information, despite the fact that the doctor is a little overweight, due to presumably an overwhelming addiction to gas station Gardettos. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan is maybe the healthiest man to ever live. Just look at that chiseled slab of meat, living entirely off elk and comedy club nachos. He can bench 700 pounds. He can squat 800 pounds. He can spend upwards of 13 hours in a sauna without passing out. And listen, if there is some light sauna unconsciousness, he absolutely does not wet himself or brown. And if Dr. Peter Hotep is willing to come on this show and debate me on the topic of Joe Rogan's bowel control, which is again, absolute, complete, no lack of control there, I am willing to donate $100,000 to the charity of his choosing, as long as he chooses the Vongino Foundation, which is a charity I formed to pay back a $99,000 loan I took out. Just remember, math is gay, all right? Why are these radical leftists, which every scientist ever is, so afraid of debate? They refuse to engage, even if you make it for charity, or if you corner them in the tampon section of CVS and start going, why do you think you need these? Periods are fictional. Is it because they know they are wrong about more or less everything? COVID, elections, the existence of Switzerland, all things they have been proven to be at best misguided on. So I am calling on Dr. Peter Hotep to debate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Joe Rogan. And if we could get Kid Rock in there, that would be great. Okay, he could join the debate and then do a song at halftime. Maybe he does that one where at the beginning you're like, man, I love Werewolves of London and or Sweet Home Alabama. Then you're like, oh no, that's that Kid Rock song about getting a hand job in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Anyway, you'll make a nice fat paycheck, doctor, which I'm sure you could use to buy snacks, you fat piece of shit. Fatty, fat. Put down the snacks, pick up a book, but only certain books. Most books are woke. Also, COVID is entirely real, all vaccines are safe and effective, and Joe Biden won the 2020 election. Thanks for hosting me, youtube.com. All right, guys, we did it. Show's over. You watched it. You consumed it. Eye holes, ear holes. Do eyes count as holes? There are things in them. It's not a hole if there are things in the hole. Like and subscribe. You gotta like and subscribe. Hit that button. Also, I got all my socials down there in the comments section. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I'm back on Twitter. Thanks, Elon. Bringing free speech back. And comedy, which I'm happy to contribute to. So be sure to follow me on there. And more importantly, I have a Patreon for $5 a month. That's nothing. $5 a month. You get an exclusive bonus episode every single week. You get other cool exclusive content. And you get an executive producer credit. It should be scrolling by me right now. Look at it scroll. Look at these people. Man, what cool people. Just appreciate their names. Look at them. Man, I love these people. I'd kiss every one of them. If I saw them on the street, I'd walk right up to them and go, "Smoochie time!" I don't know how that's going to sound, but certainly peaked on the microphone on my OBS. Anyway, I'm losing my mind very slowly. It's incredibly hot in here. I cannot take off the beanie. If I do it for even a second, Antifa will find me. But I can tell you where you can find me next week when I got another video dropping. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you. And until next time.
Wait, who is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s dad?
Shut up and sit down.